Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz and this is the weekly Search Buzz video recap. Today is September 2nd, 2011, and Labor Day is this coming Monday. I have some news to talk to you about in the past week, specifically stuff we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. The first thing I wanted to discuss was pretty significant announcements in terms of how Google classifies subdomains. Back in the day, subdomains were classified specifically as separate external links. Now, according to at least the Google Webmaster blog, within Google Webmaster Tools link reports, Google's classifying subdomains as internal links and not external links. So, for example, if you had forums.seroundtable.com linking to www.seroundtable.com, that would be considered in the past, that would be considered an external link to the site. Now it's considered an internal link. And that includes non-wwws, wwws, subdomains, stuff like that. And Google will summarize this all. We have a post about this with all the information on September 1st at seroundtable.com. The major questions were twofold. One is, how does this affect the algorithm? Meaning, is this something new with the algorithm where the algorithm is going to say subdomains are now worth more or less? Links for subdomains to main domains are worth more or less. I doubt it. I'm sure they've taken that into account for a while now. And two is, how does this affect online reputation management with multiple listings from subdomains where they used to list more? And again, with that, we announced last week about the mega site links. The jumbo site links really took care of that, where they're now including subdomains in these mega site links, and you don't really have that problem, except for obviously a keyword search like Google. A lot of people agree. There's lots of comments here, literally a lot of comments. So if you're interested in what people have to say about that, seroundtable.com on September 1st. Definitely an interesting topic. Another thing about it is Google algorithm related is Google's Matt Cutts tweeted earlier this week asking, are scrapers getting you down? Tell us about blog scrapers you see and we'll need data points. So basically Google sent out a Google Doc form, spreadsheet form, where they want people like us and you and searchers to go ahead and say, hey, this is a site that's scraping my content. Go ahead, look them up, and hopefully Google will learn enough about these scrapers to go ahead and take care of them. Thing is, back in January, Google released a scraper algorithm right before Panda, and that scraper algorithm was supposed to take care of these, and obviously it didn't do too well. Then Google has been focusing on these Panda updates and updates to Panda. It looks like now Google's be focusing back on the scraper sites, the sites that copy and mash up and mix up content from your website or for other websites that have the original source of content. It's interesting to see this. We have a lot of comments as well on this blog post. So definitely take a look at that. And if you do want to report scraper sites that are stealing your content, or you're just annoyed by looking at bad search results, August 22nd at seroundtable.com. Google Plus has always been promoted as a ranking factor. Google says they look at the plus ones on sites, the Google plus ones that people are plus oneing on either sites or search results as part of the ranking factor. Thing is, now all these sites are saying out there, saying that Google, all these major sites like forums and different articles from different places are quoting this and saying, this is a major thing. You've got to go ahead and get plus ones in order to rank. Truth is, in my opinion, the plus ones probably are so insignificant in terms of the ranking factors that it doesn't matter. Two is, it's very personalized, so if my friends plus one stuff, that would obviously impact my search results. But at the same time, they're saying, a lot of people are saying that plus ones will help your rankings. The question is how much. And we know there's Google plus one brokers out there already selling plus ones on masses. And it's really, why is Google doing this? Forbes had an article on it. Why is Google promoting Google plus one buttons for people to use it, and specifically saying it will help your rankings? It doesn't make sense to me why they do that outside of trying to get people to use Google plus one buttons. But in terms of, look what happened with PageRank, look what happened with link building, look what Google promotes this stuff, or even if they don't promote this stuff, people take it out of context, people abuse it, it gets killed, and it ruins the whole entire algorithm that's around it. So we have a post about this with a lot of comments, 25 comments on August 30th. at seroundtable.com. A lot of comments this week on most of the posts, really, which is nice to see. Thanks for commenting. There was an interesting post also at the Google Webmaster Help Forums where people were saying, I have a website, it doesn't target US users. Technically, I think it's illegal for me to show it to US users, but I know Googlebot comes from US. How can I let Googlebot crawl my website at the same time block US users? So one of the suggestions that was offered by this webmaster was to say, put up a lightbox effect, a little like pop-up box that says, if you are a US user, please leave. If you're not, go ahead and click yes, I'm allowed in. The beauty of that is, since it's like pretty much a lightbox effect using CSS, technically Googlebot can still crawl through the site and access it, even though it might see that lightbox effect. So John from Google said if you could do something like that, it would work, he said. But you have to keep in mind that the instant preview will reflect the state of that pop-up. And maybe that's better than nothing, but ultimately it's your decision on how you want to make it work, especially with these legal reasons involved. The other thing is, he said, the one thing that would not be okay with regards to Webmaster guidelines would to be show Googlebots different content that other users from that location would see. As long as you're showing Googlebot the same thing as other US users, then it's fine. So technically, the way he'd have to do it is pretty much bring up this pop-up every single time Googlebot went to any of these pages, which I guess is okay. At the same time, every US user would have to see it as well, which is fine. It's just something to think about. You just got to be careful when you do stuff like that. We have several comments on that as well, August 31st at saroundtable.com. More Webmaster-related stuff. You know the sitemap file has a priority a tag or attribute, where you can actually say, for this URL, the priority is 0 through 1. And a lot of people leave it out. But people ask, how important is it? And John from Google, again, went ahead and said, I wouldn't worry about it. Leave it out if it's not important. Personally, some people say, let's use the home page that has a higher priority, the category pages have another priority. Some people reverse that and say the inner pages have a higher priority. One specific person that I want to pull out in the comments was Vanessa Fox, who was part of, obviously, the Google Webmaster tool. She actually helped build sitemaps, or is leading the sitemaps program. And she says what she does is she doesn't even bother including the priorities tag. So that's something to consider. Definitely a comment from Vanessa Fox, who really looks at this very carefully, and thank you for commenting, Vanessa. DNS location, DNS Loc. There's a thing asking, Colin asked in the Google Webmaster forums, or in Google Plus actually, does Google look at DNS Loc in its geolocation algorithm for websites or subdomains? Meaning, does Google use that as a factor in terms of figuring out, should I localize this domain to googleco.uk, for Google UK, for Google Israel, for Google whatever, based on the DNS location information? And John Moo, again, who's responding to lots and lots of things out there, said, no, that's something that we do not use. Among other things, sometimes the server location isn't representative of the users that are targeting by the website. So they definitely do not use DNS location for figuring out the location of a site, and then thus using that in their algorithms to say which Google local results should show up. Moving on to the ad side, adCenter has changed their search ad relevancy and scoring factors. Let me quote what they changed. The changes include an expanded definition of relevancy and a higher standard of relevancy required for extremely popular or trending keywords. Again, that's nice to see. In the landing page and site quality section, there's more detailed definitions of what those things mean. In the landing page and site user experience section, the following has been added as a scenario that may consider low-value keywords. And in the marketplace exclusion section, there are 2 new expanded definitions. So you definitely want to, if you do adCenter campaigns or Yahoo campaigns, which is part of adCenter, you want to take a look at this, because there are some people actually complaining that their CPA prices and CPC prices have been drastically inflated recently, and it might be due to relate to this. We have more information about this on August 31st at seroundtable.com. On the ad side, Google has announced that they will, at least they didn't publicly announce it, but I believe they sent out emails to advertisers saying they will now start to review not just live ads, but ads that are currently in the pause, new ads paused. Like if you make a new ad and you make it paused, it says as a status, they will review that. Starting September 6th, this is going to happen right after Labor Day. And basically they're doing this because they want to be able to remove unnecessary delays when you want to make that ad live. So you make an ad, you pause it, Google will review it, and then when you're ready to make it live, if it's approved, it will go live pretty much immediately. Again, they're starting this September 6th. I don't see any downside to this. Maybe there's something I'm missing. We posted about this today, so let me know. AdSense also made some changes to their approval process. Now it's this 2-stage approval process. One is obviously the first stage is always submitting your normal AdSense application and getting approval there. And once you do that, you have to add code to your website. And when you add the code to your website, the ads will obviously be blank until Google looks at your code, reviews everything, and then approves it there. Once they approve it, your ads will go live, and you'll start making money. This happened, I think, earlier this week. We have posted that on September 1st. If you have more questions, take a look at it over there. Google Places has some interesting bug that has been a bug for a while, but now it seems to be spiking up in terms of people complaining. I spelled this wrong. We do not currently support your location. I have to go ahead and fix this. The thing is just, when you go to a Google Place page, sometimes it says we currently do not support the location. For me, it works fine, but when you go to certain locations, certain Google Place pages, it does render we currently do not support this location. Obviously, if you are a business owner and people are getting that might be upsetting for you and for other people. This was the first reported back months and months ago, but the spikes of reports started up again on August 26th. August 30th, Jay from Google said, I've escalated this issue to engineers so they can investigate why this is happening, and they will keep us posted. There is no estimated time for a fix, but we have more information about this on September 2nd at SERoundtable.com. Another major bug, which is annoying a lot of people, is this cursor skipping bug. It's twofold, and one is, I think we discussed it last week, where for IE users, the cursor doesn't focus in, but now, for certain users, even Chrome and Firefox, when you start typing keyword, you finish typing, and then you want to adjust that keyword, when you start typing in the keyword itself, the cursor will start jumping from place to place. Really frustrating. I can't replicate it myself. But I know Google's looking into it, and there's a lot of complaints about this over the past few days about this cursor skipping issue in Google search box. We haven't posted that on August 30th, but again, their complaints keep rolling and rolling in. We have a post about coping with being blamed for SEO results. One of the things is I don't know how SEO companies do it. Obviously, they don't control the Google search results. A lot of people charge for their time. A lot of people charge for ROI. A lot of people charge for different types of things. But the bottom line is, when a client loses their results, they get upset and they might blame you. And the question is, how do you, as an SEO company, cope with that? And there's a good Webmaster thread around it. We have literally about 20 posts, comments discussing how different companies deal with it. One person was just mad that I didn't give a solution to it. I don't have a solution. I'm not an SEO company. But the point was to start a discussion around it and see what people have to say. So if you have that problem, definitely take a look at the blog and you'll be able to talk with other people about it. Finally, I found this funny. There was a Google user who was upset that Google was using Google Instant to autocomplete their search results. So he said, I'm fed up. I'm sick of this. If you don't give me a way to get rid of this instant complete or this autocomplete, I am going to leave you, and I'm going to leave you not for Bing, not for Yahoo, but I'm going to leave you and go to ask.com. Ask.com is not a search engine, so I found that to be pretty funny. Ask.com even yesterday announced that they are going towards more of a human-curated thing, where they're becoming less of a search engine. So I just found this fairly funny that somebody would say, hey, I'm leaving Google because it's not a great search engine, it's doing bad things, and I'm going to a search engine called ask.com, which is technically not a search engine. Anyway, that is the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. Today is September 2nd, Friday. Thanks so much for listening, and the news will be at SERoundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye.